well against them. Weehaha had like a 10-0 TA at 14, 15 minutes, and you said that the game still lasted like an hour long.
Yeah, I watched that game, and it was they actually, like, I left them for a little while, and I came back, and I was like, oh, the Romanians got this easily. I come back, and all of a sudden the mid-racks is gone, and I was like, whoa, what happened? And I'm looking at this, and there's the Naganims on the Witch Doctor, the Death Prophets really farmed, and I'm like, the Romanians may be in some trouble here in their first match, but they ended up taking it. But still, the match went like, I believe, 65, 70 minutes pretty much before the Romanians were finally able to take that one. So even Egypt, and they said they had a really long, drawn-out match up against Newbie as well. They said it was a great match. They had a really good, fantastic start, just couldn't really close out the game. So the fact that, you look at that group and go, oh, Team Egypt, they must have been really bad. But the reality is, just because they had 3 losses there, 2 of them at least were very, very close.
Just imagine if Newbie had lost that game, and there would be 1 and 2 in the group.
Oh, that would have been just a massive riots in the streets. All right, so we have our first couple of bands here. We're going to be seeing the Slark band away by 4FC, while the Tidehunter is taken out by MVP Phoenix. Viper, and now I'm kind of expecting the Razor to be banned away just because, those
Will they let
heroes.
Brewmaster through?
Yeah, that'll be interesting. The first time maybe the Brewmaster is able to sneak through, I know MVP would be happy with that.
The Slug is like a targeted ban up against QO. His Slug is absolutely amazing.
Yes, it is. But they have shown a lot of strength in the Brewmaster as well, though. So that's, potentially giving up the Razor, which I don't normally think of as being an MVP signature hero. So maybe that's the best bet at this point. Because it seems like, while I normally wouldn't say Razor would be a first pick material, for me, I don't really think he belongs there. But in this tournament, seeing as he's been banned out a lot of times in the first 1-2, or has been picked up rather early as well, a lot of the group stage matches back there had some Razors in them. So I know a lot of these teams are beginning to value the Razor maybe a bit more than the overall meta would imply. But
it's come down a lot to not picking heroes that make flashy plays. Apart from that one game, where Team Romania picked the Meepo because it's sort of a last-ditch effort, like we have to win this game.
Yep.
So you don't really go for the flashy heroes. You go for the stable heroes who are hard to kill, hard to pick off, do well in their lanes, and can start slowly but surely building an advantage and not dying.
And there it is, MVP Phoenix. Sure enough, they actually, 4FC went ahead and banned away the Death Prophet. And that means the Brewmaster is going to be falling into the hands of MVP Phoenix. They are going to be perfectly happy with that first pick, no matter what they give up here to 4FC. What are you thinking? I'm thinking an Ogre Magi just
Ogre
because.
Skyrath?
Yeah, Ogre. Yeah, that's actually exactly what I was thinking. Like Ogre Skyrath, major, right? The 1-2 supports that we've been seeing every single time. Centaur instead for 4FC. I was actually watching one of their games earlier where they, I believe, were running a Centaur, and maybe they're just going to try and build off the back of that success. Vengeful Spirit, now the second pick here for MVP Phoenix. And now they have a nice little swamp, maybe sacrificial escape mechanism to save one of their carries, a little bit of minus armor. There's nothing too big, I would say, about this hero. I don't feel it's a terribly strong counter pick against the first 1-2 for 4FC, nor is it an incredible amount of synergy with just the Brewmaster. But in general, it's just a really solid support.
I think you ban out Invoker here. I don't know if 4FC have an Invoker player. I know that Krilly loves his Lone Druid and has done for a long while.
Yes, Krilly.
But looking at Skyrath Centaur first picks, obviously there's the initiation potential, but the instant killing potential when you stomp Double Edge and Mystic Flare or Ancient Seal and spam with your Arcane Bolt. If you have Sunstrike on top of that, and then go for something like IG did at Frankfurt with the ES Marana, you've got an amazing early game fighting potential. With Invoker going Exort, you've got Split Push with the Forge Spirits. But also you can take the fight to MVP so early on that they'll be hiding behind their tier 2 towers, wondering what to do next.
Right, and if you're able to go for that Exort Necronomicon build, it means you can push down some of those early towers quite quickly. Yeah, there's a lot of potential here for a Invoker pickup for 4FC. At the same time, MVP Phoenix do need to think a little bit about which way they want to go. I mean, up against such early aggression, right? The Skyrath Mage, Centaur War Runner, that's a lot of heavy-hitting power in the first 15 to 25 minutes. And that's usually where the tempo of the game is determined. If the laning phase really doesn't pan out one way or the other for a team, if it's just kind of neutral, normally it's those first couple of rotations at the 15-minute mark that start determining the tempo of the game. And at that point, to MVP Phoenix, try and play it ultra defensive up against that very aggressive duo, potentially with another support behind it? Or do they fight fire with fire and go for some aggression of their own? I mean, it's not like they're lacking it with the Brewmaster Vengeful Spirit. Those are heroes that, especially once the Blink Dagger is up for the Brew, can be very, very powerful and completely determine the whole entire tempo of the game.
I think Treant would work really well with MVP because it covers all bases. You can play aggressively with the Venge. You've got the stun, you've got the Leech Seed. You can go aggressive onto a hero. You can play defensively with the Living Armor. So you can have an offlane hero who might not necessarily do well against Scarth +1.
Right.
But with the Living Armor, you can survive a little bit longer. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, we saw the Wisp as well as Legion Commander banned away by 4FC, while the Ogre Magi and the Razor taken out by MVP Phoenix. Not a big surprise that Ogre was banned away, and of course we talked about the Razor before, but yeah, the Ogre kind of would have been the perfect pickup here for me for 4FC. What do you think about the possibilities here of that Elder Titan support that we've been talking about? We haven't seen it really in this tournament. We only saw the Elder Titan offlane just recently, but the Elder Titan support, which has been sort of flavor of the week in both Western and Eastern metas, with the Centaur and Skywrath Mage and that heavy amount of nuking power, just really put you over the edge where you can take down anybody, even like a tank hero like the Brewmaster. It would just leave you a little bit lackluster when it comes to disables.
It's a really niche pick in the support roles. Na'Vi tried it, 7-8 months ago?
Right.
Then Big Daddy's been playing it.
Yeah, No-Tail's really been the one leading that charge of the support Elder Titan, and a number of teams have followed suit. But instead, we're going to be seeing the Chen here as the third pickup for 4FC, a hero that we really don't see that much anymore.
At all.
At all. I mean, if anything, we see the Enchantress pickup, right? We still see the IG occasionally picking up the Chwantress, and there's, I believe, 1 or 2 Western teams that have picked it up. I believe Team Secret had an Enchantress pickup at one point in time. But other than that, we don't normally see either one of those junglers, but if we see them at all, it's usually the Enchantress.
Well, when I went back over 4FC's lineup and their players, so Steph Style, he plays jungle heroes, Enchantress, Chen,
right.
but we don't see those heroes at all, so I sort of thought, is it worth putting them down? Yeah, may as well just write them. Sand King on top of that. He is known for his jungling Chen, so he's kind of like Poppy in that respect, that it is one of his big heroes.
Right.
But whether or not it's actually going to be worthwhile in this tournament, and you mentioned it in a game earlier, the fact that glyphs now refresh after the tier 1 tower, you can't go for the extra bit of push onto the tier 2.
Yeah, I mean, combine the glyph refreshing, first of all, means you can't just go, oh, we took a tier 1, let's go for the tier 2, because then you have to deal with another glyph. But then on top of that, we have the extra armor on the tier 2s as well. So even if you're able to use this Chen to take all of the outer towers, you're still going to be having some issues when it comes to finishing up those tier 2s, because the tier 1s are nice, but they don't really give you that much map control. Most teams are still able to hold on to their jungles and such. It's taking down those tier 2s that allow you to completely open up the jungle and start dominating the enemy's farm and really wrecking their economy. And I just don't really see that happening. But maybe they're going to invest a little bit extra pushing power with their 4th and 5th pickup. We're going to be seeing the Witch Doctor, though, now as a 3rd pick for MVP Phoenix. Nice extra support. We've seen the power of the Witch Doctor with the Death Ward just wrecking so many team fights recently. Once he gets that Aghanims, he is one of the best late-game supports. But I feel like maybe this just isn't enough nuking power for MVP Phoenix early on.
He's great with the heal, but I think the main reason to pick him up against Chen is the fact that the Paralyzing Cask bounces between those Chen creeps. It's so strong at stopping that, because you want to get the Centaur, your Furball, right into the midst of things.
Right.
And if you can't get those creeps in there, then Chen's power is completely mitigated.
The puck now going to be picked up. 4FC will continue on the line of early aggression between the Centaur and the Puck. Both of them come online relatively early on, again, dominating those 15 to 30-minute mark. Very, very strong initiators. They have the Chen to be able to push after they get that pick off, and now all they need is their big carry. But I feel like a snowball here. I feel like it has to be like the Gyrocopter or Luna that we were talking about before. I feel like it kind of has to be that, because they're not only playing to win here, but they're playing to win fast. And getting a nice, like, early aggressive carry like that is able to have a big impact in mid-game team fights and still have a lot of carry potential.
Can you go for Lycan here?
I'm not sure if you can up against the Necrophos. I mean, normally I would say if you'd suggested Lycan just before that 4th pickup of MVP Phoenix, I would have gone, oh, yeah, absolutely. But now with that Necrophos, it's definitely dangerous. Very, very dangerous.
And this pick
if you
plays into the Necro pick plays entirely against what 4FC want. That's going to increase their respawn times,
Right.
draw out the game longer and
Yes.
longer. It's going to get really difficult for them.
Yeah, and just to make sure, MVP Phoenix will ban away the Lycan. I think if you did go the Lycan, you had to go for one of those like early fighting build Lycans. Couldn't really go for the Necronomicon, maybe, just because the danger of...
I think you sort of just skip Vlad's and let Chen get it.
Yeah.
And go for
that's not a bad idea.
Medallion or something like that straight away.
Maybe go for a fast BKB. We're going to be seeing the Ember Spirit banned away by 4FC. Another pretty decent turtling hero, but we also have seen MVP Phoenix run it in the past, and well, would definitely be a good brawling hero. Terrorblade going to be picked up by 4FC, and they're going to be grabbing the guy that has been having a monster win rate in the Western scene. It's only recently that we've seen some of the Western teams like Cloud9 lose with the Terrorblade. And in the hands of 4FC, maybe this is a bit of their surprise pickup. Maybe they feel that MVP Phoenix may not be ready for this newer hero that's been introduced into Dota 2.
So they keep him safe for the first 7 or 8 minutes, and then they go create havoc on the rest of the map. Get Chen, Centaur, Scarth to go create kills, Puck, Blink Dagger, Dream Coil. Really try and shut down these supports. Yeah,
and if you want a carry that gives you extra pushing power, Terrorblade is definitely it. But we're going to have a QO Templar Assassin, and that is going to be a danger here in this middle lane. You talked about it in the last matchup, actually. It was the 5th ban for one of the teams, and that was because we were talking about the potential of a Puck pickup, right? And Templar Assassin versus Puck. The Templar Assassin does great in that matchup.
The Puck can win it. It's just really, like, you have to be incredibly skilled. Like, you have to be Dendy level against a sort of a non-mid player to win that lane.
Yeah, it's heavily in the favor of the Templar Assassin. Occasionally you can see a Puck provide the upset, especially if you get like some sort of early rotation, which I'm going to say definitely is necessary here for 4FC. They got to go for an early Chen gank, potentially add in the Skywrath Mage for that long-range initiation as well. They do have a nice little roaming duo, so if Steph Style does want to play against some of his natural instincts and maybe not spend as much time farming up the jungle, he can provide a lot of roaming power.
I think if he finds a Wild Wing early on, he's going to be stacking these camps and farming.
Yeah.
Just for the first, 7 or 8 minutes, get that mech, skip boots.
And we're off with the last game of the night. MVP Phoenix facing up against 4FC. It is Team Korea facing up against Team Sweden. Right now for the Swedes, it is do or die, as they're currently sitting 1-1 in their group. They're going to need a win here up against MVP Phoenix, and preferably be a fast win as well. Even if they do get the win, they're going to be in a 3-way tie, and that will then come down to time rating to determine who moves on. MVP Phoenix starting this out with some potential early aggression here, though 4FC have got themselves very, very well spread out. MVP will reveal themselves. Skywrath Mage sees it, and they're going to try and keep whatever vision they can to be able to see where these wards are placed. And that's a rather unusual one. As that one, does it actually block out? I think it actually has to be a little bit higher up in order to block it out. So that could be just purely a vision ward.
Are they running aggro try with the brew?
It seems like it. Notice the early build here for March. He actually goes for the Boots of Speed on his Vengeful Spirit. So really trying to take an opportunity to get those pickoffs. And you would never see this. I feel like you would never see this kind of aggro try unless you were facing up against one of those carries that you feel really threatened by. And Terrorblade is certainly one of those. Though, unlike maybe certain other hard carries you'd be scared of, like the Spectre, leaving her to free farm, the Terrorblade can actively fight you. He's very squishy, but if you give him any kind of room, once he's able to use that Metamorphosis, he is a terror in the early game, as every single hit hits like a nuke. That'll leave our mid matchup, Templar Assassin facing up against the Puck, and then the bottom lane we do have, of course, the Centaur facing up against Heen's Necrophos, which is going to be a nice lane for him. The Centaur's natural tankiness will actually play against him here. As you can see, he's already gone for that level 1 Heartstopper aura.
That's so annoying to deal with. We were talking about it earlier with the Tidehunter versus Necro.
Yeah.
It's just not a lane you want to be in. The Necro has like unlimited mana with the Sadist. The Death Pulse dishes out massive AoE damage, heals up the creep wave, pushes it under the tower so you have difficulties last hitting. But yeah, the Heartstopper aura is the deal breaker.
Yeah, and look at this, though, the way that they're already setting up. They know 4FC are either going to have to move the Chen in nice and early with the one hard camp that he has access to, because they're making sure they have vision of the other hard camp. They're not going to be surprised by any Sven rotations or Chen rotations. So if he doesn't get a good ganking creep in that hard camp, he's not going to be able to make anything happen for this defensive tri-lane. They can completely shut out the Terrorblade here in this first couple of minutes, which is why you see Steph Style do what he's doing, throwing in the smoke, making that rotation.
Did they even ward their own hard camp to stop Chen going into their own jungle. The Radiant...
Yeah, they did. They did exactly that. And it's going to be both their rune vision as well as blocking out the camp. Incredibly smart play there from the side of MVP Phoenix. I didn't even see that.
I was just sort of wondering, like, hang on, who's Observer? What is that? That's Radiance. Like, the presence of mind to think, okay, well, we've given him one hard camp in his own jungle, so he's going to want to move into our jungle and maybe kill the Necro like he's trying to do a bot lane now.
Yeah, he's making that rotation. Heen is making the runaway. Unfortunately, he needs a disable. Strangby's still trying to catch up in order to get in range of that stun. It looks like the extra bit of movement speed he has, the extra 10 movement speed, is going to be enough to get the stun. The follow-up nukes is going to be enough, and Strangby will be claiming that first blood up against MVP Fiend. Meanwhile, in the top lane, they do lose their Terrorblade, and so even if they do get first blood, the comparison there, losing their Terrorblade, and on top of that, a Terrorblade who wasn't getting any farm in the first place, MVP Phoenix still probably going to be happy with the trade.
That 10 movement speed difference, though, you just know he's clicking in front of the Necro. Just keep on going, keep on going. I'll get there eventually. Get into the range of that AoE stun, and bam.
And meanwhile, our mid matchup, I mean, look at just the CS, first of all. Look at the CS score. Heavily in the favor of MVP Phoenix, but if you look at the mid matchup, 10-5 on our Templar Assassin compared to the 5-2 on Ares Loco. And you can't really blame the puck on this. This is just an unfavorable matchup up against a good mid player like QO.
I think it's a slight mistake to go the null and puck against the TA because it's counterintuitive, but you think, okay, I need the null to get more easier last hits in. But against the TA with that refraction, it's going to be difficult anyway, so that's a waste of gold in my eyes. So that's going to delay his bottle and boots, which are going to be delayed anyway by the TA being so aggressive and powerful in this lane. So now he's sitting on null and no regen, just getting his bottle, whilst TA has bottle and boots. Has the movement speed advantage, he's going to have rune advantage. This lane is only going to get
especially
harder.
As you could see, Reason's going to be able to add in that extra bit of control as he will probably be making the rotation every single time for the 2-minute rune at top. And then, well, the bottom rune, he may make the rotation himself. You can see Heen is being shut out, just like the Terrorblade. The downside being that the Necrophos was able to pick up level 4 before he was really shut out. And so he can probably play this a lot more aggressively than the Terrorblade can. Clearly right now is level 3 and has already blown his Metamorphosis from earlier. Oh yeah, making the dive. Heen is going to be popped here. Just one more right click, and sure enough, Steph Style gets the last one required to get that kill. Heen sticking his head out just a little bit too far. The Witch Doctor is going to be coming in, but he is way too late to the party as Cask, one Cask on that Centaur is going to do hardly nothing, especially since he's already got Tranquil Boots. He can just sit back if he wants to.
Top. They don't get him with a clap, though.
Ooh, that could have been a huge kill for them as this Metamorphosis. They're trying to go in, QO, making the haste rune worth it. He's going to be able to get the pick off on Freegally and try and make the rotation. Does he actually go in for the dive against Grilly? Doesn't look like it. QO will content himself with that one pick off and head down. Meanwhile, Ares Loco going to be running into Reason. That's going to be a pick off as well as Ares Loco. Oh no, they're going to need a little bit more. Wow, that last hit doing so much damage as 70 was just barely enough to finish off that Witch Doctor, whose Voodoo Restoration almost saved him there.
I think they definitely should have dived top. When you think about it, even if you're scared of the rotation TP from 4FC, which hero are you scared of? Centaur, maybe, but Chen, Scarth was dead. You're not really worried about any of these heroes coming in and trying to defend the Terrorblade. So it's always going to be a free run in. Kuro still had 4 stacks up on Refraction. Meld coming off cooldown shortly. Brewmaster hadn't used any spells yet. So I'm pretty sure that would have been an easy kill.
2-3, 5 minutes in, MVP Phoenix, while the kill score may not reflect the accuracy. The economy is definitely in their favor. Picking up the top 3 CS, every single one of their cores is farming very, very well. And while the supports aren't really getting any CS at all, they're just soaking up some experience and really making sure they shut out the 4FC cores as much as possible. As you can see them splitting off. They originally went for that aggro try, but now it seems like the Witch Doctor is going to be finding a permanent home here in the bottom lane, making sure the Necrophos lives, but they're going to be going for a dive here. Cask will intercept the Strangby, and again hits him. And that means they're not going to be able, well, maybe they can. They do still have the Centaur ultimate. They're going to be able to catch out Reason with the stun follow-up. All the nuke damage will be able to finish him off. Heen tries to get some sort of return kill, but Strangby is going to be more than enough to live through that. Heen is actually going to be forced back, getting quite low as the last couple of nukes, unfortunately, the Satyr going down just before. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, we did have the puck dying to the Templar Assassin.
But he did get a kill on the Vengeful Spirit.
So at least he gets some sort of vengeance, though. Still in the favor of MVP Phoenix for that one pickoff, though. Combine that extra pickoff for 4FC in the bottom lane. Overall, it seems to be going their favor. They need to get some extra kills. I like the way they're not afraid to rotate so heavily around the map, especially since it's the most obvious thing to do when the laning phase is playing against you like this, is just shake things up as much as possible. As you can see, Aris Loco going to be gone on by QO. 1, 2, 3 is maybe going to be enough. He needs a forced shot. Small little jump. Centaur ultimate going off, and the bottle heals will actually be enough to keep Aris Loco alive. Unfortunately, he doesn't have his Dream Coil off cooldown just yet and couldn't really punish QO for that deep dive into the tier 1 tower, but at least he gets out with his skin intact.
He had about 4 or 5 stick charges, uses them up. Oh, the splash damage from Sideblades.
Just that refraction plus Sideblade hit is enough that Aris Loco may even have to consider going back to base, as the rune is up, not up for another minute. It's a very dangerous proposition to try and sit around here for another minute just to hope to get a rune to get some regen. Bottom lane, Heen's going to be taken out to Sweden. Able to find another pickoff on the Necrophos. And MVP Phoenix, I'm not sure why reason he just isn't sitting there in that bottom lane, because we saw him intercept the Centaur last time and ended up giving up his life. He sacrificed himself in order to save the Necrophos. But you can see, like, 4FC are just going to continue to do this over and over and over again. In top lane, we have another dive, as we're going to be seeing the Brewmaster ultimate going off. Cruelly trying to get himself into the jungle, juke this out as much as possible, but he needs some mass teleports if he hopes to be able to get out of this one. Steph Style doesn't, unfortunately, well, he does have the mana. He could try and send home Cruelly if he wants to, but it doesn't seem like they're just going to lock in the Brewmaster. Now Forev in some serious trouble, no longer has a clap, no mana for anything, and Aris Loco with the extra presence will be able to provide that one kill. Necrophos will be able to take out the puck in return, as oh, that trade-off just looks so bad when you look on the board and see the puck is down for 56 seconds like that, compared to the Brewmaster, who was only down for a good 20. It would seem like that would be a really good trade-off for 4FC, but that Necrophos ultimate just changes everything with that extra 30-second death timer.
Absolutely ridiculous. And Steph Style did lift his hands in the air to cast that Test of Faith on the Terrorblade, but I think the call was made, don't do it. I don't need it. The Brewmaster's locked in a position where he can't cast any more spells. He's not hitting me with the 5-hander. There's nothing more he can do. So now just get a concave around him and take him down.
Oh, look at that. March was thinking about a dive, but that is just
mid.
illusion. Yeah, they're going to try and dive him in. The haste rune goes off, but the Centaur ultimate able to counter that bit of a haste rune. He still has enough movement speed in order to catch up to the Skywrath Mage as the Centaur ultimate fails, but a good body blocking there from the Centaur is going to be enough to ensure that the Skywrath Mage does successfully get out. And now they're just waiting for their puck to come back up so 4FC can start making some plays. He does have the Dream Coil ready to go, so wherever he ends up teleporting, they're probably going to be looking for a kill. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Steph Style will start laying down some pressure and see if he can pick up his level 6 on top of the team fight that 4FC are already kind of holding on to.
Yeah, it looks like the 2 blinks from either side are going to come around at the same time. 2,000 gold on the Centaur and the Brewmaster. Oh, but that tower going down, that gives the advantage.
Perfect timing. Forev will grab his and back himself away into the jungle. Meanwhile, Cruelly, seeing that the top lane being completely occupied by the forces of MVP, will be heading down to the bottom lane. See if he can get some farm up here and maybe lay down some pressure on the tier 1 tower. I would say force some teleports, but at the same time, I don't think Cruelly really wants to be facing anybody right now. He'd rather just probably farm up, and it seems like MVP Phoenix are going to give him a little bit of time at least. They're going to go straight for the middle tier 1 tower, while QO, March, and Recent are all trying to take that one down. The tier 1 tower at the bottom lane will fall eventually. This is what happens when you leave a Terrorblade alone. It only takes 30 seconds or so for him to take it from full to nothing.
The thing is, where does the Terrorblade go after this? Because he's going to push this lane out. He can't go too far now, or else he'll be putting himself in such great danger. Does he go back top? Does he go mid? Where's the next area for him to farm?
Yeah, I'm not sure if... it seems like Keen, right now, 52 and 12. His CS score is actually really, really high. Even though he's died 3 different times, he's sitting right there at the 4K net worth. So he really hasn't fallen too far behind, despite the fact that 4FC have committed a lot of resources to shut him down. And especially when his team gives him some openings. Bottom lane, they're going to jump in. Forev in some trouble. They're going to try and pop him before the ultimate goes off, and they will be successful. As Strangby is now on a killing spree, as they march into now a tier 2 tower.
As soon as you hear that,
the first of the game.
As soon as you hear that roar from Centaur, you got to blink out.
Yeah.
That Brewmaster just slightly too slow off the mark.
And now their tier 2 may be the cost of a late blink there from 4F. As you can see, 4FC, 4 different heroes, the Chen as well as the Terrorblade, adding a lot of pushing power, but it doesn't seem to be enough. The Cask was able to intercept that quite well and even killed one of the creeps there from Steph Style. So as you were talking about before, rather successful cask against a Chen is always welcome. And you could see it right there as it's able to kind of defeat the push all by itself. Templar Assassin currently going for that little bit more of a race card build as Waga is I've been talking a lot to Waga during TI3, and I brought up Templar Assassin at one point in time, and I believe he's said like the race car build is the best for the Templar Assassin. Of course, I completely trust him, seeing as he's the TA aficionado. And I've played around with it a couple times myself, and it really does feel like the best build. I'm not sure if Blink Dagger is really that good of an idea anymore, just because, hey, if you can get practically max movement speed with phase boots active, why not go for that instead?
Exactly, and because they changed...
Dream Coil going off, and especially with the Tornado on top of him, QO trying to hide himself as much as possible. Doesn't want to snap the coil, but it's going to be too much. As the nukes go out, the refraction was coming off of cooldown too, but not fast enough. And QO will be taken out, and they're going to try and push in that middle lane. Meanwhile, though, MVP Phoenix always getting something on the flip side there. They may have a trade-off, but they're going to go for the Tier 1 tower. Forev getting blown up at the bottom rune. Strangby once again finding that opportunity with Free Elite. The nuking power is too much even for a tanky Brewmaster to handle, and he gets blown up once again before he can get off his ultimate.
They've got Stampede, they've got Blink ready to go, but they don't have any vision on MVP. Yeah, I think the change in Blink Dagger cost as well really did harm that item for TA, because she needs something a lot sooner. Phase drums is incremental, easy to build up. The stats it gives you are great as well.
Small little slow here in the middle lane, but nothing more than just backing up those supports. If you take a look at it, 13 minutes in, we do have a slight lead for MVP Phoenix in the gold graph, about 1,000 gold lead for them, but 4FC are countering with a 750 experience lead. So very, very even match so far. You can see the gold is maybe a little bit more spread from the side of 4FC, and that's always to be expected when you have a 4 position that is able to jungle like Chen. As even if some of your lanes do lose out, at least you can make up for it with some extra farm on one of your supports.
That's really annoying for Jen, though. TA coming straight into the jungle, taking down one of his trolls, pushing him back. So he has to go back to the fountain. And that's a nice little observer ward. We saw it a lot from PR, where they're placing observer wards in this area here, rather than up on the cliff, which is usually warded.
Yeah, the obvious spots are both on this cliff as well as this hill right here. Those are all the obvious spots, but you're right, teams have been trying to change up their warding position as warding spots have become more popular and more easier to predict. MVP, smoke is popped as they were trying to go for a pick off in the middle lane. They're still going to be able to get the slow and the clap on too. This time they get off the Brewmaster ultimate, the Centaur ultimate, try and counter it, but Krilli's already been stunned up, swapped into the rest of the team. Silence goes off, trying to get off the ultimate, will be able to get it, but will he still survive? He's still so squishy. In fact, he gets stunned up, falls immediately as in the back. Witch Doctor's going to be blown up. Eris Loco trying to make the jump away, will be able to get it as well. March left with just a slim bit of health. QO gets blown up by the Centaur. And 4FC are actually on the hunt for even more. Going to be able to catch out for Rev. This is going to be 4 heroes potentially going down on the side of MVP Phoenix. Disaster strikes for them as the Necrophos farming up the bottom lane. Not there for that engagement. MVP Phoenix, maybe a little bit hubris, trying to force a fight with only 4 heroes like that and end up getting punished hardcore. Sure, they got Krilli, but the only reason I feel like that fight went so heavily in their favor is solely because that Sunder went off and they needed to focus even more damage on Krilli.
But imagine if that Necro was there, because the amount of times that MVP went down to, a third of their HP and then continued fighting, and then one hero dropped, then another hero dropped. You could have had 2, maybe 3 death pulses there, healing people back up to full, continuing to fight, finishing off the 4FC heroes who are, on the last, basically running on fumes. On
I mean, even just getting on the Necrophos ultimate, the Reaper Scythe onto that Terrorblade, just that by itself would have made a huge difference before he sundered. So hopefully Heen will be able to make something big with the items he's going to be picking up here in the next few minutes, as his lack of a presence there in that last team fight may have costed MVP Phoenix big.
I just wonder if Atos is his item. It did look a bit worrying for MVP that they couldn't make up the distance quite fast enough on the Terrorblade. He got all the way back almost to the Tier 1 tower before the initiation. Vengeful Spirit was leading the charge and couldn't get the swap or stun in time. Then it was down to the Brewmaster to blink in and clap. If they had that Atos, slow down the TB, they get the swap, stun, and that's Terrorblade completely out of the fight, away from his teammates, and there's no chance for 4FC to react.
Yeah, it's an early utility item, which we've been seeing a lot with Necrophoses. I mean, it seems like the most important thing It used to be that Necrophosis would spend a lot of time, getting able to blow up the Brewmaster again. Strangby now with a beautiful coil from the puck is able to hold in March, as well as Reason blows up one, gets the other as well. 3 heroes go down. And now QO may be in some trouble as well. They need a disable. That's going to be coming out from the Centaur. Nice stomp. Meld goes out. They're going to lay down a counter ward, reveal QO. He still has a lot of extra life points. Reaper Scythe holding in Strangby, not enough to get the kill though. QO does get out, but they've blown a big ultimate there. Lose 3 heroes, and 4FC will make a successful extraction here, as they can back up, take more time to farm on the Terrorblade, maybe even take a Roshan here sometime soon if the team fights continue to go their way.
Look at the big arrow drawn down mid lane.
March is not messing around. He wants to be able to take down the rest of these tier 2 towers, and they have the Brewmaster ultimate. Even though they don't have the Reaper Scythe, which is a bit of a loss for them, they won't have that for another 65 seconds. The Brewmaster ultimate by itself is kind of what wins these team fights, at least most of the time. But maybe 4FC have been able to pick up enough farm that just maybe they can contest MVP Phoenix in a couple of these fights. Doesn't look like they're going to be quarreling over this tier 2, or at least not yet anyway. Corelli is just busy pushing up the top lane. They'll probably just let the tier 2 take a lot of damage in exchange for threatening the tier 1 tower in the top lane. And if MVP Phoenix want to take a trade, I think 4FC would be happy with that. Delay out the game as much as possible, get some tower bounty for yourselves, even if economically it's in the favor of MVP Phoenix to get a tier 2 trade for a tier 1. It's still, I think, worth it to draw out the game.
But remember, they can't draw out for too long.
Center ultimate goes off. Oh, there goes Forev, getting off the ultimate. Ares Loco in the middle of a lot of heroes here, trying to get off the Dream Coil, gets it on 3. He meanwhile is going to be the focus of Krilly, needs a little bit extra damage. Skywrath Mage will lend enough to be able to finish him off as the last couple right clicks go down. Skywrath immediately buying back after he gets taken out because he sees this is going to be a good fight for them. Potentially as Reason gets low, QO forcing back a lot of these heroes, but 4FC are on the march, and QO going to be in some trouble. Nice swap from March, but they still get him with a jump in, stomp, silence on 2, and they finish off another 3 heroes. 4FC, every single time they get into these engagements, it seems like 3 is just their number. They get 3 pickoffs from the side of MVP Phoenix. This time around, they only lost to Skywrath Mage, who bought back immediately just to make sure they had that extra advantage. And now, just as we were talking about before, win a team fight, go take Roshan this time around.
It's so difficult for MVP because the team fight starts, with Puck blinking in, silencing.
Right. Puck
gets silenced, he can't get the Dream Call off, gets stunned, gets locked down.
Oh no, Reason, that's a 4th pickoff. As Ares Loco knows, he doesn't need to be in the Roshan pit. His damage on Roshan is really inconsequential, so instead he goes hunting for kills.
But then as soon as TB rolls up to the fight, MVP switch their focus away from the low HP Puck and the Centaur onto the TB because they think, oh, it's that guy. We've got to kill him.
Yeah.
He's the most important hero in the game. But I feel like if they kill the Puck and Centaur first, then the rest fall like dominoes because then TB is left on his own without any support. There's no more lockdown or nukes. He's there tanking up against Brewmaster Ultimate and possibly Reaper's Scythe.
And now I'm quite worried, and it's not necessarily because any of the cores items on the side of 4FC, but this important support item from Steph Style. He's picked up the mech, meaning you're now kind of on the same level as the Necrophos in some of these early fights when it comes to adding sustainability to your team, and that is something that is definitely needed for heroes like Krilly and his Terrorblade, who are rather weak, but even then, they don't have to worry about him in a lot of these engagements now, solely because he's got that Aegis ready to go. So if he's the first one targeted, they will completely accept that and still go for the 6 versus 5 team fight.
And where is this snowballing TA gone? FaZe drums bottle at
right
12 minutes in, and then trying desperately to build this BKB.
Yeah, the Skywrath Mage Centaur ultimate, the combined of the extra bit of movement speed to stay ahead of QO, the stomp in order to hold him in for the Skywrath Mage ultimate. I think that these 2 heroes combined are really just what's keeping Templar Assassin out a lot of these fights, just because, especially that Mystic Flare ripping through the refraction charges so many times, is able to just really threaten QO a lot earlier. Now, Heen's going to be jumping in here. Krilly's going to be held in by the ultimate from Forev, and Krilly may be the target of a Reaper Scythe here, trying to get in range. They do take him out. No Reaper Scythe committed here, as they just know it's just the Aegis for now. Steph Style is going to be targeted. Witch Doctor ultimate will rip through him. Krilly's going to be up next. Silence on Heen will help them out quite a bit. The stun under Krilly, they just need the Reaper Scythe. Nope, the clap is going to be good enough. Still holding on to that one. March going to be blown up potentially, soaking up the damage. Forev, as well as the Necrophos, will add in. The slow onto Freegally will make sure they get an additional kill on top of everything else. So they take out the Aegis, they take out the Terrorblade a second time, and they get a Skywrath Mage kill on top of it. A good revenge here for MVP Phoenix, who were really being kind of pushed around in a lot of these team fights. Finally, they win for themselves.
Most important, there was a Cyclone on Chen, and the fact they killed Terrorblade when Metamorphosis was up, he just used it and then died about 3 or 4 seconds later. So when he respawned, he had none of that range, none of that extra damage, and he was just sort of left.
And now QO, top of the board once again, and net worth sitting at 8,500 gold, has finished up his BKB, and this is huge. I mean, the magic damage is between the disables of the Centaur, the Mystic Flare, like these things were threatening him so much. Even the Coil being a really good disable against him, but now
silences as well.
Yeah, that's true. I actually didn't even think about the silences, but now QO with that BKB is really unstoppable in these fights because the physical damage, really the only physical damage that 4FC have right now against a mid-game TA is going to be that Terrorblade, and he's simply just not ready yet. He needs more farming time, especially with 3 different deaths and a CS score that isn't terribly impressive. He's only sitting at 5,800 net worth right now, and that's solely because of the fact the laning phase was so tough for Corelli. I mean, there's really nothing he could do because the aggro try from MVP Phoenix was so strong.
The fear I have now for 4FC is that, you know, nerves start to get to them. They think, okay, we have time rating to deal with now. 22 minutes into the game. The next 15 minutes are vital for us. We need to play everything perfectly smoothly. We have to take our engagements when we can and win them.
10-21. 22 minutes in. We are actually dead even in gold right now, and about a 2,500 experience lead for 4FC. But the momentum feels like it's in the favor of MVP Phoenix after a big win in that team fight in the bottom lane, and the BKB being picked up by QO. I can't really say just how important I feel this item is, as he's going to be trying to force back Ares Logo here. He'll use his Blink Dagger to escape. I love the Yule Scepter pickup on the puck, by the way. I think that is such a smart decision by him.
Yeah, if they can catch the Brewmaster from range with that Yules before he gets to split off and then focus down someone else.
Centaur catching up to Heen, and no teleports are going to be coming in from MVP Phoenix. They leave Heen to die, as that is not a hero that they could save. The Centaur combined with the Skywrath Mage once again finds a pick off for them. The trade-off will be, of course, that tier 2 in the middle lane. MVP Phoenix are able to eliminate that one and will continue the pressure. Not necessarily to actively try and take this tier 3 tower, but just to try. They know 4FC want to go for this tier 2 in the bottom lane. They say, if you really want that, you're going to trade off a lot of building damage in exchange. You could see the tier 3 tower already down below half health here. 4FC, maybe they have their opportunity to hold in some heroes. Beautiful silence initiation. The BKB goes off from QO. Now the Brewmaster ultimate as well. Steph Style going to be the first target as QO aims to take away that support who has all the heals in the world. Nice 4-staff forward though. Beautiful play there from Strengby. And QO, oh no, he's been stunned up inside the tier 3 range. Will be taken out by an orb. Thrown up in the air. Steph Style still keeping these heroes alive, but the Brewmaster ultimate's going to be fading. Brev, unable to make a jump out, is going to be silenced up and blown up. Unstoppable Strengby. The Centaur rides again. 10-25. 4FC now the momentum heavily in their favor as they win another fight.
This is what I was expecting more of them early. Having the Terrorblade on that top lane, pushing down on his own while the rest of the team creates havoc. And when I saw this draft, that's what I thought they'd be doing. Push bot lane with the Chen, which is, you know, an easier lane to take with those creeps. Push down so the enemy can't get up onto the choke point and defend that tier 2 tower.
Right.
And then you've got these creeps sort of, you know, basically as a blockade in front of them. Then Centaur can blink stun into that choke point. Skywrath Mage ultimate. Then Terrorblade, you know, he sort of weasels his way towards the tier 2, chips away, gets to the racks, and you don't even notice he's taking your base.
Very, very greedy push from MVP Phoenix. They really could have just left that tier 3 tower at half health and gone back, but they almost brought it down. They actually left it down with about 150 HP. So the push was definitely strong. Tier 2, though, is going to be falling. In exchange, though, 4FC used the momentum that they have to claim some more bounty for themselves. And that's going to mean a heavy drop. And gold now in the favor of 4FC.
Brewmaster ult is down for half a minute, so they've got time for this tier 3.
Yeah, jump in. Oh, Strengby finds Q. Oh, great swap from March, though. Is going to be able to save him, at least for the time being. Forev able to make a counter onto Ares Loco. Great 4-staff once again from Strengby. Able to save his ally. Freakily not going to be as lucky. Steph Style tries to send him home and tries to TP himself home, but neither play will work out for them. 4FC lose their 2 supports, but it could have been so much work, really, just because of that 4-staff. Once again from Strengby, he has been on point with being able to save his allies.
What a freaking play. Yeah. Like, the puck gets 4-staffed at the same time as he sends orb and then phase shifts. So he's got an orb that lands over here while he's phase shifted here.
Nice TP away there from Krilly, and you could see MVP Phoenix immediately check out the Roshan pit, but are not going to be finding anything they want. Centaur, ooh, look at his gold. He's going to be having a BKB rather soon here. And that's going to mean, well, he's kind of unstoppable just like the Templar Assassin. QO just will not have enough physical damage to try and threaten the Centaur, nor would you really want to at this point. You're trying to gun for those squishier heroes in the back. The Chen jump in there from 4F. They're going to ensure this tier 3 tower does go down. The Brewmaster throws up the Terror Blade in the air, really hurting that Metamorphosis time. They're going to make the jump in. Silence on 3. Beautiful stop there for Strangby. And an even better double edge. Is almost able to finish off March. Is able to take him down. Aris Loco. Oh, the Yule Scepter safe. Maybe trying to make the way out. Phase shift goes down. Krilly in some trouble as well. Gets off the Sunder. QO gets off his BKB and will make the run away. Centaur ultimate going off. 4SC will be able to blow up. Heen gets that one. And now continue on, looking in for more. Aris Loco finds some heroes. Reason able to make the teleport away. Forev has a Blink Dagger up soon, but the constant hits from 4FC are disabling it. They need to be able to keep up with him, and they do. Strangby gets the stun, and Forev will be taken out here. 12 to 28, 27 minutes in. And one hell of a back and forth between the Swedes and the Koreans.
And the range racks on 140 HP. That puck, once
close.
again, coming out with a plays. Some amazing use of Yule's Blink,
Yes.
Phase Shift Orb, and he managed to draw the Witch Doctor and Brewmaster all the way across here to try and finish him off, and then he looped around back, and like you said, canceled that Blink Dagger constantly on the tail of the Brew.
Steps down, will actually cancel his teleport there as he realizes QO's not going to be gunning for him just yet. And he's got really bigger things to worry about. 4FC are going for a push of their own, and they also still know that even once the Brewmaster and Necrophos are back up, one of those ultimates is still on cooldown, and that's the Brewmaster's. Krilly with his Manta. All the illusions in the world, they're going to be able to push in. Strangby trying to make a potential initiation, forced out, and as swapped. Right into the tier 4 tower. Strangby pops his BKB, but a big hit from QO is going to be enough to finish him off, and the 4FC will back themselves away. Getting a little bit too anxious and pushing in and trying to even out the tier 3 tower lead that MVP Phoenix are holding on to. Ends up kind of costing them a big pick off there, the Centaur, especially with the spree that he had, unstoppable.
Yeah, not just that, but the TA had pushed the tier 2 at top, so the illusions plus the creep wave managed to finish that tower off, then TP's back to take down the Centaur, but it was really over-aggressive play. They tried to push the boundaries just a little bit too much, took it over the edge, and MVP weren't having any of it. Now they come down this mid lane, Centaur no buyback, 20 seconds on the sideline. This looks like it could be racked.
Yeah, both teams are hoping for a quick win here as they're going to be able to take out this range racks. Nothing 4FC can do about that one, but maybe they can fight over the melee racks. They still have another 8 seconds until the Centaur is back up. And VP Phoenix looks like they don't want to be punished like they have been before in some of these really early pushes. They're going to back themselves up before the Centaur is alive. And just make sure to get that range racks and back out with everyone safe. You can see Aris Loco, making another big jump. 4 heroes caught in the death coil. Meanwhile, Forev, not able to get off his ultimate. He gets silenced up with the Skywrath Mage. QL pops his BKB, able to take out the Centaur. 2 different BKBs pop, but it seems like the Witch Doctor ultimate is going to be enough to force 4FC back. 1-for-1 trade so far. 4FC, they're going to be losing freakily, but the question is whether or not 4FC can do much about this. Ghost Scepter goes off, and the send back, they get it! They actually managed to save the Skywrath Mage here. The swap goes out. March, that's just an illusion, my friend. Now the silence goes off on 4 once again. Aris Loco finding beautiful initiations. Unfortunately, it seems like this melee Rax is going to be dying. Whether MVP Phoenix lose a team fight because of it, we'll have to see. March is going to be slowed down, silenced up. They need a lot of pickoffs here in order to make sure that they still stay in this game. March is going to be taken out by another right click. Aris Loco also silences up Heen, who's going to be chased down. Krilly has another slow up in just another 2 seconds. They will be able to get this kill on top of everything else. You can see MVP Phoenix cutting their losses. They got the range racks. They got the melee racks. They got what they came for. And now they're just going to let what kills happen. They're happy with their push. They're happy with the trade.
Oh man, when that fight happened near the secret shop, that Centaur respawns, walks into the team fight, and then gets basically one hit by the TA. She just wipes at him, throws that meld hit out, takes him from half to 0.
Yeah, the big Desolator hit. So much damage. QO. Look at this cheeky guy.
4FC have an inkling. Are they heading down there?
Looks like it. We do have Forev, who's kind of providing interception here. Is going to be able to get the clap, but no ultimate this time around. And they're going to try and blow him up before the Aegis is dropped, and it's going to be picked up by Templar Assassin. Forev lays his life on the line just to make sure that QO can finish up that Roshan and gets the Aegis. A perfect trade in my mind. There was nothing that would have stopped 4FC from going into that Roshan pit and could have been a huge upset there. But Forev takes the sacrifice for himself. He potentially even could have been able to just get off the ultimate.
But the changing cast time on that Brewmaster ultimate,
it's so long.
The fact that it's only like a 0.2 second change in the cast time, and then the time between cast animation and actual split was reduced by the same amount. But the difference that makes is massive when you're up against heroes like Skyrath who have that silence, or heroes who have an instant hex. Just makes it so much more difficult to actually use your ultimate.
Yeah, it's all about reaction time, and that's what Frigolite has been excelling at. He has been targeting that Brewmaster almost every single time in these team fights and has almost always stopped that Brewmaster ultimate from going off right away, at least. So 31-30 is the time, 14-32 right now. Scoreboard in the favor of 4FC, and they certainly have gotten a lot more kills, which is shown in the experience graph. And even the gold graph a little bit, a 1,500 gold lead for them while holding on to an 8,000 experience lead on top of that. But 4FC, unfortunately, are going to be losing out a lot with that mid-racks down. And they need to try and even it out here in the next few minutes. They don't want to be stalling out this game with the mid-racks down. That's actually a lot of lost farm for them. You can see Chen. What is he doing here with this Ogre Club? I can't imagine he's going for a BKB, so this is going to be an
Halberd,
I guess, or a Halberd?
Because TA's BKB is running down, it's on 6 seconds. I think Halberd would be a good choice.
It's a very odd pickup, but you occasionally see it on supports that are a bit more farmed. It gives them a lot of natural tankiness, and obviously that disarm is amazing. So that's not a bad idea.
Could be Aghanims. It allows you to take one of the Ancients, but I don't see that being a massive turning factor. I think Halberd would be a lot better.
Yeah, I think so too. I haven't really ever been a fan of the Aghanims upgrade. The change to the Ancients hasn't really impressed me that much either. So, Tier 2 tower going to be focused down by MVP Phoenix with the help of the Desolator from QO. Makes it quite easy. And it seems like 4FC are just going to hide this one out inside their base for the time being anyway. Look at that gigantic net worth lead by the Templar Assassin. 16,000 net worth. The ultimate goes off. Oh, Dream Coil unable to snag him. They will be able to at least catch out March. They get a support, but they were hoping for so much more there.
Crilly was up on his top lane and managed to push the wave up to the tier 3, but he can't go further with this Necro here.
Yeah.
The Atos BKB, the fact that he can run out to the TB, Death Pulse, and then Reaper Scythe before he can use his Sunder.
We do have a Scotty that's going to be finished up by Crilly sometime soon. He's already got enough for a second ultimate orb, and after you've got the 2 ultimate orbs, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump until you're able to finish up that orb. So that is definitely going to be really helpful, as any extra stats are worth their weight in gold. As all they really need is just a small amount of nuking power and then pop the Reaper Scythe on him.
I don't. Do you go Skadi here? Because I really feel like.
Do you think Lincoln's is way better?
I think Lincoln's is a lot better.
Yeah.
Because he has. I think he needed to go BKB or Lincoln's, and if he's not going BKB, it's got to be Lincoln's. Because the fact that Brewmaster is constantly jumping in, using his ultimate, and then cycloning Crilly in every single team fight, throwing him up in the air, like, you are not a part of this fight now, and then taking on the rest of 4FC without too much trouble. And then we've also seen him get swapped into team fights.
You know, there really isn't that many good smaller stunts to throw out to stop the Lincolns either. I mean, Cask and Magic Missile are going to be your best abilities at that point. So I think you're right. I think a Lincoln's would actually...
I don't think that's what he's going for, but I think that's what the correct item
Eris Loco going to make a small jump in here, trying to harass QO back. Already their Tier 3 tower has been brought down to half health. MVP Phoenix have been doing a great job making sure to really primarily focus this tower damage, and it's paid off so far in big dividends with that middle set of racks going down. Eris Loco makes another small jump. Tier 3 tower does fall. 4FC need to go in sometime soon. There goes the Metamorphosis pop. And MVP Phoenix are still going to try and take the fight. This time Forev does get off his ultimate, able to get an immediate stun onto Frigolite. Meanwhile, Crilly is going to be thrown up in the air as well. Very successful move there for Forev. Meanwhile, Strength is going to be isolated, gets swapped back, taken out. As now, big ultimate there from the Mystic Flare. Not enough to finish off QO, and this time around the puck is unable to make an escape. There goes the Aegis. Templar Assassin out for another 2 seconds, but when he comes back, he's going to reduce some major havoc. Strain be able to get a 2-man stun. QO, though, starts moving forward, slowed up. Oh, he could be kited around here quite heavily, but a good BKB will actually save him a lot of hurting there. The rain tracks is going to fall. The cast starts bouncing around here. And MVP Phoenix, if they can get a second set of racks, they will be completely happy with just backing out from there, which is why Strength makes the initiation. 2-man stun, finishes off Heen, now going for Recent as well. QO in the back, he's able to finish off the Chen, now going for Frigolite as well. The low armor on this poor Skyrath Mage is not going to be enough to save him. QO actually backing up, he's going to turn onto Crilly instead, gets off the Sunder. The ultimate goes off and it's not going to be enough, though. They catch out QO anyway with the good stun here from the Centaur. And 4FC now trying to chase whatever heroes they can. But MVP Phoenix already taking that second set of racks, not just the range racks, but the melee racks as well, means that they are sitting very pretty in this game. 36 minutes into this game.
It's Scardy for TB. He bought the next ultimate orb and he's got enough gold to finish that item straight up.
Now Terrorblade, one of the hardest carries in the game, is able to deal with the 2 racks advantage. Hell, you can even potentially come back from Mega Creeps. Terrorblades, Medusas, these heroes, it's actually a lot more common to come back from big disadvantages like this. But both sets of racks going down 36 minutes in. 4FC are really going to have to draw this one out or provide some really big like smoke yank that turns into a big team fight and they're able to immediately push down mid. They need something to immediately happen or they have to draw out this game.
But then if you draw it out, you're still going to be up against this Brewmaster who cyclones Cruelly every single team fight.
Yeah.
So eventually he'll need a BKB or something like that.
Yeah, do you think a BKB was maybe a necessity for the Terrorblade much earlier into the game?
He never had the chance because it took him a good 20 minutes to make the Manta style. Because he had such a rough start to the game, forced to move off the top lane, farm a bit in the jungle, go down, push bot lane. He never got that initial burst.
He's going to be jumped here in the middle lane and blown up. I feel like I've said that many, many times here.
It's
Bit of a deja vu. Heen being targeted by the Centaur and Skywrath Mage. Centaur and Skywrath Mage, the 2 playmakers here so far. Freegalite and Strengby have really been determining the tempo of this game for 4FC. For Rev, that was rather awkward positioning, but a quick blink will be able to save him. Now Cruelly makes the push in. Metamorphosis going. Nice reaction there. The BKB goes off. Swap. And now Strengby pops a BKB of his own. Needs a couple more hits, but not going to be enough. March, meanwhile, being targeted by Cruelly, trying to finish him up, but he actually gets stunned up. Witch Doctor throws down the ultimate, but immediately gets Scythe of Ice. Freegalite trying to back himself up. Style and the other supporter in some serious trouble, but a beautiful stun there from Strengby as they blow up the Brewmaster. Reason's going to fall as well. QO being slowed down. Cruelly trying to get away. He does have a Sunder. He's going to go for it, trying to get the Sunder off with the slow. The Reaper Scythe! Cruelly's down for 100 seconds. Freegalite's out as well. The backup from Strengby. He's able to get himself one step ahead of that slow from the trap. He will get out as well as the puck. But a big ultimate being dropped by Heen just in time before that Sunder. Yes, he can. He's able to buy back, but the 2 supports not as fortunate. That means we're going to be seeing a 3 versus 3 here, the potentially game-ending fight. As MVP Phoenix, you just need that last center X. I mean, I say you can come back from Mega Creeps, but that's like getting Mega Creeped at like 50 minutes. This early on into the game, it's so much less likely to come back from that.
And when you say it's more common for heroes like Terrorblade, you mean it's like 3% against 1%.
Yes, exactly. QO, he's going to be stomped up here. Doesn't have a refraction up. March immediately with the swamp, though. Good control so far. They do throw up. eSF onto Heen. You're going to try and chase him down with Centaur Ultimate. Pops his BKB, runs straight in, but he's immediately threatened up by the Templar Assassin. Heen will fall. QO trying to get a way out. BKB fades, though. And now they have the potential to hold him up. Nice blink forward air. Whoa! QO showing him who's boss. Takes him down nice and quick. QO trapped in a corner, though. And it's going to be worth the life of the puck if they can finish off this Templar Assassin, and they will be able to. QO with no escape is going to be taken down and dead for 84 seconds. March is also found here by Strengby. Stunned, Witch Doctor ultimate going off, trying to catch up. Strengby, unfortunately, was not the target of that Death Ward. Really trying to catch up. He's going to be clapped here. And ooh, maybe they can actually finish him off with a Maledict. He's going to need to send back home, and it looks like it will be successful. Send up in the air, but it doesn't stop that send back from Chen. And that's going to be a Brewmaster ultimate pop for nothing.
That TA did about 1,500 damage in one hit to that puck. It was about 1,200 crit, plus the 250 from Meld. Absolutely ridiculous. I want to see how much HP Puck has, when he's on full HP when he respawns.
Yeah, he's dropping down to negative armor with between the Meld, which by itself is taking away the 8 armor that he has, and then the Desolator hit as well, another -7. It seems like almost like a Shiva is going to have to be your next item solely to prevent the potential of a one-hit shot.
Well, where do you get the money from? Because you need to start saving for buyback. This game is drawing out far too long. They've lost 2 lanes of racks.
Yeah, and it's so hard to be able to recover that farm up against
look at Puck's HP.
like this.
He can be one-shot by the TA if she gets a crit.
Yeah. Easily. And, well, at least the Centaur is able to get, maybe he's going to be able to pick up a Shiva. So maybe Assault Cuirass is the better pickup for a Centaur just to give some of his allies some of that armor. Normally you think about the minus armor possibilities and maybe the attack speed when you're talking about AC versus Shivas. But in this matchup, I would just say, like, plus armor for your allies. Please give some armor to them. Because QO is just decimating them. And this is potentially big right now for Rev. And the rest of his crew are in some of the enemy jungle. You could see this smoke up. MVP. There's smoke is going to be popping here as Loco sees him. And inside the Roshan pit for Red, makes the jump, but immediately gets blown up. Krilly getting a bit low, gets off the Sunder on Heen, and now the silence goes out. Nice play there from Eris Loco, providing a lot of room. Meanwhile, Strangby does get ahead of the Templar Assassin, but maybe jump down. Back to Heen, though. He's going to be blown up. Recent gets off his ultimate, but it's no match up against the power of a Terror Blade. March, he's going to be chased down by the slow. Back over to Strangby, who makes a blink away just in time before QO can get the shot.
He had that blink for a good 2.5 seconds. He was holding it, drawing the TA, baiting, come on, get away from my teammates. I know you want to kill me, and then blinks away when he launches the projectile. Great play there by the Centaur.
And now 4FC will go right back to Roshan, claim that Aegis and the cheese as well. This is huge. Now Krilly doesn't have to worry about, in fact, he's going to hold on to both of them. Krilly, the greedy carry, and hey, you can't blame him. This is a hard carry Terror Blade. Holding on to both the Aegis and the cheese makes a lot of sense, especially when you're so scared of Reaper's Sight.
Do you just straight up buy an item here? You've got 3,000 gold, do you buy lifesteal or crit or something?
On your Terror Blade? I'm not sure.
Or do you try and, like, Butterfly is going to be good against the TA, but against the rest of MVP, not great? Or do you buy a BKB? Like, I keep saying this item, but it's not an item you often see on Terror Blade because it gives away which illusion, or which one is the real one, right? Which ones are illusions.
Yeah, I would feel like, I mean, it's just so tough to say Butterfly, right? Because even if it's just the one hit, the one meld shot from TA, that's going to be enough damage to bring you down close enough for Reaper's Sight to finish you off, you know? And then it's just not even talking about the rest of the magic damage that's coming out from MVP. Whoa there, Witch Doctor makes a Force Staff away, but still got caught by the Stampede and will be finished up. That is not what you're looking for right now. MVP Phoenix giving away a free kill to 4FC like that.
And I swear, at this moment in time, in these team fights, Frigolite just has the Ancient Seal pre-cast and ready to go and is just spamming the ground everywhere around in an AoE, you know what it's like? The Brewmaster is going to blink it somewhere in this region. I'm going to spam click this spell, and hopefully it'll land.
Let's take a look at some of those other items, man, because I think before 4FC make their mid push. So right now,